Hi! Is another great inspired episode of Good Fat Life. I am so excited to be here. The sun's shining, and it just feels like just a high energy, great day. And so, before we introduce our guest, which I'm very excited about, I want to remind you that Good Fat Life is our magazine. You can go to goodfatlife.com and see it digitally, or you can have a subscription delivered to your home and read it at your leisure, like a trusted best friend. So it's goodfatlife.com, and we talk about all the fun, really cool things that are happening every day. So, that said, I'm so excited today to introduce our speaker, Ms. Meena Puri. There she is. Hi, Meena.
Hi, Sherri.
And so, remind me the name of your company.
It's Ayurvedic Healing Center. And so the good way, the better, an easy way to pronounce it is Ayurveda, as in I am Veda. Ayurveda.
Ayurveda. There you go. That's awesome. That's awesome. Like my mom calls my son-in-law ATM. His name is Etienne, but she calls him ATM because she can remember that.
It
Right?
works.
It works. Exactly. So Meena she has this wonderful company, and she does all kinds of counseling, coaching, and around food. And Meena, fill our our audience in with
Sure.
all the things that you do and
That's quick.
why. Yeah.
So Ayurveda is unlike Western medicine. It focuses on the whole person. So my forte is the whole person. So Ayurveda is a study of consciousness. So I help people from the physical to the non-physical, because I can't help them with the physical unless we dig into what's happening in the non-physical, because those are the causative factors. So, in a nutshell, mental, emotional healing, spiritual counseling, nutritional guidance, lifestyle changes, past lives, energy healing. I bring it all together. I'm also a yoga therapist, so I bring it all together, many, many modalities. So the modern marketing scheme where you have to find your expertise, I have the hardest time with that because I don't know how to do one thing. I mean, I do, you know what I mean? There's a
Right.
flair to
Right.
it,
And that's
but
why I have a hard time describing you. But 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 I know, but the people that I've met that have worked with you are like they're just transformed into what we would call living a good fat life, because they are
exactly.
really loving life, and they look great, they
Yeah.
feel great, and they love the life that they're living.
There you go. So if you want to do that, come check me out.
There you go. Well, so the one of the reasons that I wanted to invite you to be on the show for this episode is to talk about inflammation. I'm
Yes.
seeing a lot about that lately, and I know people, we're just kind of clueless about it. It's insidious. So
Right.
talk about that.
Sure. So on the surface inflammation, we think it's heat, it's fire, and we hear the word, but we are not really clued into the signs of inflammation within our own body and how we are creating it, and how some people are more susceptible to inflammation than others.
Oh, I didn't
Um,
know that. I didn't
yeah,
know
than
that.
others,
Yeah.
just because of their physical, mental, and psychological constitution or makeup. So let me begin with what inflammation is. Inflammation is actually body's natural healing mechanism, and it shows up when you get injured. You scrape your knee, the body rushes blood to it to help heal it. And so that's like acute inflammation because it is situational, it is temporary, it is meant to heal. But what happens when the body continuously has to rush to destroy the invasion of viruses or bacteria or the foreign substances, which comes in the form of fertilizers and chemicals that are in our food? So when body doesn't recognize it, it's like, what is that? It's a foreign substance. Got to get rid of the body. got to get rid of from the body, so it rushes to that. But when we are constantly asking the body to do that for us, the inflammation sets in. So there's chronic inflammation. So
What
acute inflammation is the body's healing response. We need that. Thank God for that. But the problem in our society is a chronic inflammation.
and what would be some symptoms that you might have chronic
Right.
inflammation?
And the truth actually is underneath the common denominator for most of our illnesses. So if there's hypertension, whether it's arthritis, whether it is heart issues or some issues of the digestive system, even our mental health, depression, lethargy, uh, one of the common denominator is inflammation. And actually, if we look at really, if I want to really make it simplify it, the two common denominators is toxicity and inflammation. So, what happens in the chronic inflammation, the toxins, or we call that ama in the Ayurveda world, it becomes vitiated. What that means is the chronic inflammation, it has deeply settled into the tissues. So then it becomes, the symptoms begin to show up, it becomes problematic, and that's we don't want to get there, but unfortunately that's where we all are. There's a toxins, it's like the bad gone worse kind of a thing.
So you're saying symptoms would be high blood
so,
pressure?
so symptoms would be aches and pains,
Okay.
symptoms would be lethargy, symptoms would be lack of energy, lack of motivation, symptoms would be lack of proper sleep, or the digestion isn't working, headaches, migraine headaches, psoriasis, any of the skin conditions, rashes, that's inflammation. And also, when you see people in bouts of anger that they cannot control, inflammation is playing a part there. The emotions,
Oh, okay.
that's why I said it's, some people are more prone to it. So, those people who are like type A kind of people and who have their psychological makeup is they immediately get very intense, and so and that they are more prone to inflammation, like anger, right? Anger is stored in the liver. So the truth is we need fire, we need the digestive fire in the liver and the gallbladder to digest the food. But when humans have free will, so we do whatever we want to do, and we attack the intelligence of the body. So we get disconnected from the intelligence of the body, and the body then doesn't know what to do anymore because you kind of messed up with it. So that heat, which needs to be in your proper digestive system, it goes all over the tissues.
Okay. So how would a person mitigate that or manage that? What are some things that a person could do
Some of
to
things. So
calm
yeah.
things
So
down?
exactly. So one of the simplest and the hardest thing to do. That is our diet, our food. Okay. And in the food, so I'm going to narrow it down to sugar. It's not just white sugar. You can do um, like a good sugar, maple syrup or other sugars. It's a sweet taste, a sweetness, the
So you're
excessive
saying
use of sugar. So
so
if
you're
people can, yeah.
so you're saying sugar maple syrup
So
is
again,
you should
here's
or
the
should
thing.
not use it.
It just should not. So what I'm
Right,
saying
it's
is,
all sugar, right.
so when I talk about sugar, it's not just white sugar. It's
Okay.
think of the sweet taste.
Okay.
So sugar will, it increases your insulin. And when that's going up, there's something that happens. There's an oxidation that takes place, and that creates inflammation. Oxidation is not good for the body. The body sees it as a problem, so the inflammatory response clicks on. And also, um, too much sweet taste or sugar, it stimulates this what's called the production of this free fatty acids. So this compound, when it needs to be digested, it results in inflammation. There's an inflammatory response that's involved in it. So what people can do is, number one, you know, cut down on white sugar. So white sugar and corn syrup, it's in a lot
Mm.
of products
Yeah, it's
that we
buried.
buy. So we are
Right.
coming
Yeah.
back into, Whole Foods, know what the ingredients are. And sugar is very addictive, but that's what we don't know. We love something so much, yeah, of course, because there's all the things in there that your body is not recognizing, or is going to be uh, poor choice for your body. So getting rid of the processed foods that have the sugar or fructose or any kind of sweetness. Corn syrup is highly used in a lot of products because it's easy to transport and it's cheap. So look at the sugar intake, whether it's in your coffee or tea, whether it's in your treats, whether it's in the junk food that you consume, or whether you use it in your own cooking. So look at the sugar and see where you can eliminate that.
Okay.
And what other thing that people can do is, so if they can do that one thing, and really built within that one thing is, don't consume products where it has so many preservatives, the food is chemicalized, because it's going to, again, the inflammatory response, the body's going to think of it as, what is this, what is this substance, I don't know what to do with it, so I'm going to burn it up, and the inflammatory response goes on. So that's how we misuse a wonderful intellect of the body. And um, so what was that? And what they can do is increase the consumption of greens, green foods in their diet. By its nature, a lot of the green foods have a bitter taste to them. So sugar is an anabolic taste, which means it creates tissues. It creates muscles. It creates muscles, or whatever the tissues are. It creates those tissues. Bitter taste is a catabolic taste. It destroys the tissues. So up the consumption of bitter taste, any bitter greens. I would have bitter greens. So I tell my people when they go grocery shopping, make sure there's one green in your hand. There's one green that you have added, even if it's green beans, even if it is Brussels sprouts, even if it's kale.
I have
You
a
know,
friend, yeah, who has she her mother raised her that she had to have a green at every meal.
yeah,
And
smart mom. Yeah,
and
smart. Yeah,
and
and
so yes, but that's a simple, it's like it's a pretty simple rule if you get it in your head. It's like, okay, what am I eating that's green in
yeah, I think how to kind of, and many people who are not used to cooking fresh, and they only know peas and carrots. So we have to move beyond that. We are fortunate to have such variety of greens and vegetables available. Um,
does
People
lettuce
can.
count?
Lettuce is neither here. It has a lot of fiber. Lettuce is okay too.
Okay.
Lettuce
But
is
it's
okay too.
okay, but it's not a
Yeah,
top green. It doesn't really
it's
count as a
not a
green.
top green, and if that's hard, and people can also take. There's a lot of those green powders.
Mm.
Find the
Does that
quality.
count?
Pretty sure it's a green
Okay.
powder. It's got chlorophyll and other green things in it. So if it's easier to take a scoopful and
Okay.
put it in your water and drink that. And I think also we need to get away from the mindset that vegetables taste bad, right? Because
Oh,
we're still
yeah.
carrying that from our childhood when we were forced to eat vegetables. It's like we still have that in our head. We see vegetables, we see our mom saying, "Eat your vegetables." You're like, "No, I'm not eating them." So it's a conditioned response. So we need to connect back with that
That's
because
fun.
we're no
That-
longer.
That's still funny. My husband and I were talking about that this week, and I said, can you bring home like a vegetable tray? And he goes, "Oh no." He goes, when I come towards them, they run away because they see me coming and they run." It's like,
Funny. He's funny. He's funny. So the vegetables we have, this is a conditioned response. They have a bad rep, and also I think, most people in the Western culture, because it's a animal like a meat based diet, they don't necessarily cook the vegetables in a way that's appealing. Like I wouldn't be able to eat those vegetables. I've gone to like Thanksgiving dinners at a friend's house, and they've given me like steamed cauliflower, and I'm thinking it has absolutely no taste. It's not satisfying. I cannot eat that. Sure, I'll eat it there, but it's like it's blah. It's nothing. So people need
Right.
to know how to cook the vegetables. Use some spices, and go to
And
Google and get a
well,
recipe.
you've got a wonderful book that you've
I'm gonna
made.
go
Yeah,
like
you
it's
have it.
this book is meant for anybody. You don't have to know Ayurveda. You don't have to love vegetables. You don't have to know nothing about cooking. But I'm telling you, if you can follow some of the recipes here, this is your
Yeah, they're
ticket.
wonderful.
So
They're yeah.
get the book, and it's experiment. And you people who start cooking this way, they're like, oh my god, I love the vegetables, I love this dish. Is because they know how to make it. And my husband loves this dish because we all like taste, we all like aroma, we all like food that has flavor. So this
Right.
is cooking vegetables with flavor, and also it makes them more digestible and the body likes it. So it's a it's we just need to switch over to thinking this is, it's like spices and Ayurveda is for the whole world. Let go of this is Indian food. I don't like Indian food, but like the spices, like don't worry about it. Don't give it the
Right.
name. And these
So
spices are big.
we got to your point about the vegetables. We have a CSA, and I forget what it actually stands for, but a local farm. We get a
Mhm.
box every week of vegetables. I call it
Yeah.
vegetable surprise, right? And it's so much fun. It's starting this week, and it's so much fun, and it goes through the end of October. So every week, to you inspired me, and your book, I have it on my counter.
Wonderful.
To say, okay, I've got these vegetables. What do I do with them? I don't know what to do with them. And it's not like from a stress thing. It's like from a inspiration thing. It's like, oh, what can I
Like, what
do?
can I do with
What
them?
can I do? And it's a
Yeah.
goal, it's a goal. And my husband does participate as well with eating them. But to your point, if they're delicious, then he eats them, right? So it's like, what can I do to be sure that we use up all the vegetables in this box every week? And
Right. Right.
to me, that's where I have to be inspired.
Inspired. Yeah.
I have to have something that kicks my creativity into gear.
Exactly. I
And
tell people to, yeah, begin with, even like I said, bring one green, bring one of your favorite vegetable. Like you cannot walk out without a vegetable in your hand, like something fresh, something that's live. And I think when you eat that, you feel better. You feel like, oh my God, I feel good. People feel good. They're like, oh, I like that because it makes you feel energetic, but not heavy, lighter at the same time. It's good for your body.
right. And it's good, and
So,
it goes towards and if you're eating vegetables, you're not eating sugar. So
exactly. And
that's and I'm sure there must be ingredients in the vegetable or chemicals in the vegetable that supports the body,
that actually
doesn't
there's so many
create. Yeah.
phytonutrients, vitamins, and minerals. So I want to make a couple of other points come to my mind that people can quickly use. Third point I want to make is some vegetables can themselves be are not good for some inflammatory conditions, such like rheumatoid arthritis. So they're nightshades, which are tomatoes, eggplant, potatoes, they're all acidic. So any food that is acidic is going to contribute if you're to your inflammation if you already have an inflammatory condition.
Mm,
So you and potatoes. So it's peppers, eggplant, tomatoes, potatoes, and garlic.
okay.
And sometimes what do people do? They're like, these are the vegetables that are in abundance. Well, they make this whole thing of all these vegetables with, I love garlic. I put garlic in everything. I'm like, love it a little less. Um,
Well,
we have,
well, right? But what as you're talking about them, I'm going like, oh, I really like all those, but and they're not green, right?
and they're not green. And, there's something in them. They're called nightshades. There's actually nicotine in, you know,
Wow.
that they're like, they're kind of, these vegetables are addictive. Like,
They
you
are. Who doesn't love
can't,
potatoes?
yeah, you cannot take my tomatoes away. I love the lemony zingy taste. So it's not, so just cut down on it. If you add more greens and cut down on the other things, you'll begin to notice a difference. And other point I want to make, for because I talked about type A personality, intense personality, people will be more prone to inflammation than other people. So those people, the mantra is, um, kind of slow down and smell the roses. Roses are very calming. It's in literally smell the roses. Rose water is very calming, and to
I
people
didn't know that.
to be in the moonlight. Because remember, sun is the heat, moon is the
Okay.
cool, right? Sun, moon, the
Right.
hot and the cold. So be in the moonlight, sit in the moonlight. It'll
Oh my
calm you
gosh.
down. It'll, because moon is the feminine, sun is the masculine, is the mother, father. So
Right.
be in the moonlight. Take a stroll in the moonlight. There's full moon coming this Sunday. So and weather is nice. Hang outside. Hang out with the moon. And hang out with the moon, and also like water, right? Swim. Water is cooling.
Okay.
Water flows, so it reduces the intensity, because
S-
intensity is, things got to be this way, my way, right now. Water is like, no, go a little here, feel it here, go there. So they get out of their head and feel. So it reduces psychologically the intensity, and also it helps with the body inflammation, as the water is cooling.
That's fascinating. So hang out with the moon. Um, only eat greens and swim. Go
Reduce
for a
sugar.
swim. Yeah. Excuse me. Reduce sugar. All right. Those are. I mean, those all sound like they're doable.
Down, and reduce the nightshades.
Okay.
Potatoes, because people do a big, it's like meat and potato diet. Like people do potatoes are so easy to use. They're filling, they're
And
cheap,
they're
they,
delicious.
they're delicious. They grow out of nothing. It's just, you put
Right.
one potato in the ground, you got thousand. Like they keep multiplying. So they're taking they're soaking up. If the ground is soaked up with with the whatever the chemicals are, well, what absorbs the most from that soil is any vegetable that's growing underground. So
I
that's why to get organic potatoes, whatever that is, we do the best we can. So then you are not, chemicalizing your body.
Mm. Did you? One thing I do know about potatoes is if you cook them and then cool them, it changes the structure of a potato. And now the name of it is escaping me. So it doesn't have the same spike on your insulin as it's not it the sugar. It doesn't have a sugar spike. So if you're going to eat potatoes, the best way to eat them is cold,
It's
which
called, oh, I
is
see.
cold. So you can have, like, what is it, the nishwash salad with cold
Huh.
potatoes and green beans and those kinds of things. That's a good option. That's a good way to eat
So
potatoes.
you cook the potatoes and you cool them down.
Yeah, it's their
Huh.
potato. It's a starch resistant. It changes it.
So, okay,
The
that's
cooling.
good.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
cooling completely changes the structure of the potato and the starch. And so, if you're concerned about a sugar
yeah.
spiking your insulin, eat them cold, and it doesn't do it.
You know what? Another thing that reminds me of is eggplant. When we take the whole eggplant and we bake it,
Right?
and the heat builds, heat builds, heat builds, and then it pops. That popping action actually gets rid of the heat. So the eggplant, by if you just cut it, because you didn't do a process to eliminate the heat, it there's heat in there. But if you bake it and let it pop, it actually becomes a cooling thing.
Oh, well, so there you go. There's a little
So there's,
some little nightshade vegetable hacks, right? So cool. Well, this is great. So I just want to take a quick moment to shout out one of our sponsors, who
sure.
is one of my favorite ways of self care. It's at Snedecor's Cleaners, and at Snedecor's, you put your items in a yellow bag on your front porch. They pick it up, and a few days later, everything shows up clean and fresh. And their process is uses a sand, which is just mind-boggling to me. But your clothes actually come back healthier and better than when you sent them out. It's
Oh,
environment,
wow.
yeah, it's environmental friendly, and I've just found for my self care because my is busy, and I always know that I have something to wear in my closet,
Oh,
and
I
I
want
don't.
that.
Yeah,
That would be
right,
lovely. Who
right,
would have
and
want
I
that?
exactly, and I don't have to worry about if it's is it clean, is it ironed, or if I get a stain on something, which seems to be happening more as I get older. Um, for reasons we won't go into. Right? It's just nice to know that they will take care of it, right? And
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
anyway,
That's nice.
so Snedecor's Cleaners is part of my self care. It's part of my living a good fat
Nice.
life,
Nice.
right?
Anything, right? Anything to take care of yourself, whatever works.
That
Yeah.
makes life easier and
Makes
reduces
life
stress.
easier. Yes,
Right, right.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So, if we're gonna, so where would people find you, Mina, if they want to know more? Because I know you've got some amazing workshops and retreats and a trip to India, all kinds of cool things.
Lots is happening. So the best thing is to go to my website, ayurvedichealingcenter.com, and you can subscribe to my newsletter,
Okay.
which means whatever I'm doing, you will get to know. And on the website, you're going to see my individual programs. Make a commitment to yourself if you're ready to get rid of inflammation from your body, 3 to 6 months, and make that commitment. And I can handhold you. And I'm actually in the middle of launching a membership.
Okay.
It's just going to be so wonderful. I'm so excited about it, where people can join for just a very nominal monthly fee, and they can access it's about particular issues like I'm doing about healing trauma, healing your emotions. So the membership is going to be on that, which I'm going to be launching in a few days. I'm working on it diligently. And so yeah, and I'm on social media: Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, just Meena Puri or Ayurvedic Healing Center. You can
And
find me. And
we'll put all the your contact in the show notes so people don't have
sure.
to wonder how do I spell Ayurvedic, right? Right.
Yeah,
And
that's
like I said, the people that I know that have worked with you, it's really it. I don't want to say that they it's been transformational in the best of ways. Not that they were bad before, because I don't ever want to say that about
no, no,
somebody,
I
right?
know exactly. And
Right.
it's a transformational because some of the results they get is beyond their imagination.
Right.
Because they're like, oh wow, I never knew I could. I know this, I do this is because we normalize a way of feeling. We get stuck in the status quo and we think this must be, oh, I'm getting older, oh, every relationship sucks, oh, I'm this year's, oh, I can't fall asleep now, this whatever. We normalize it, and it's all conditioning saying, yeah, as you get older you should be sicker. It's a thought, it's actually not the truth. Right, so we
Right.
normalize
Right.
illness because when we look around us, what are we seeing? We're seeing illness, we're seeing more and more pop up of prescription medications and pharmacy. So obviously somebody is taking them, and so you think, okay, you are on two prescriptions, I'm on three, which ones are you on? This is a conversation.
And it
The
becomes
conversation is
yeah.
not like, how the heck did I get here to begin with? Get me out of here. Nobody,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
nobody asks that. No, it's like, what do you keep on giving me more medications for? Stop. I'm
Right.
walking out that door right now and I'm going to figure this out. So
Because
I
we
am
don't
for
need
those
them.
people who are ready to and really willing to wake up and figure it out. It's your life, it's your health after all. It's not a joke.
It is. I've got a couple friends that are dealing with high blood pressure, and the medications have given them
There's
that
side effects,
right
and
side effects that have just been horrible. And so
I cannot tell you how
it's
many people that I've worked with, they've got off of the high blood pressure medication. Because the thing is,
that's
they can do so many things without
yeah,
the medication.
that's great. I need to give them your contact information. So. So
Yeah, thank you.
on that happy note, well, thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm going to
Thank you.
remind people to go to goodfatlife.com. Yeah, there we go.
I love your
And
whole concept. I love the music in the beginning of the podcast.
oh yeah, thanks. And we're pulling together this next issue, our summer issue, and oh my gosh, it is full of wonder and fun, and we're just having some ball pulling it together.
That's
Lots of
awesome.
lots of movement stuff, and check out Mina's book. It's wonderful. My husband eats the vegetables if I make the recipes out of Mina's book, so that's a good thing.
That's nice. It's a
Right?
compliment.
There you
Thank
go. Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much, and let's all go out and live our good fat lives.
thank you, Sherry. Thank you so much.